Today, we are going to look at the relationship between inflation and unemployment using the Phillips curve. First, let us take a look on the history of the Phillips curve. In the first half of the 20th century, economists believed that inflation and unemployment were independent problems to the economy. But in 1958, a British economist, A.W. Phillips, challenges those assumptions when he analyzed the relationship between wage inflation and unemployment. He observed that there was a strong inverse relationship between wage inflation and unemployment, meaning that lower unemployment rate would result in higher inflation. The graph of this inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment is known as the Phillips curve. In the 1970s, economists starting to question the assumption behind the Phillips curve. American economists Edmund Phelps and Milton Friedman asserted that the trade-off between inflation and unemployment only occurred in the short run. The economy can only be in one of these three places at any given period of time: a recessionary gap, an inflationary gap, or at full employment. The Phillips curve shows exactly that, where we have inflation and unemployment. In the short run, the Phillips curve is downward sloping. In the long run, the Phillips curve is vertical. The easiest one is here, which is at full employment. This is the idea of a natural rate of unemployment. On the left is the Phillips curve, and on the right is aggregate demand-supply curve. Both are showing full employment. Aggregate supply shift to the left, we will have stagflation, which is higher price level and low output, which is at point B. That means the Phillips curve will shift to the right, which is more inflation and more unemployment. When aggregate demand shifts, there will be movement along the Phillips curve. When aggregate supply shifts, the entire short-run Phillips curve will shift. We are back at full employment on both graphs. Let's say there is an increase in aggregate demand leading to inflationary gap. And since demand shifts, we have a point on the short-run Phillips curve at point B. While in the long run, when we have inflation, wages goes up and resource price goes up. Aggregate supply will shift to the left, putting us back at full employment at point C. This will shift Phillips curves to the right. In the long run, regardless of the inflation rate, the unemployment rate gravitates towards a natural rate of unemployment. This natural rate of unemployment is the amount of unemployment that occurs when the economy is producing at potential output.